Hey, good morning. This is Derek Demore with Futures Demore on this Friday. I'm going to go over opening bell and future of the three markets that we look at, the Russell, the NASDAQ, and the S&P 500. So this morning, we didn't have our proprietary man in talking about which direction, but we thought that a pullback to about 37.9750-ish, 75 would be a good spot for a long. But in the meantime, we decided based on a few things that it just broke a channel. So I'll show you that. So the channel break right here was an indication that we might be going down. A few other things, the RSI was higher. Normally it's right in the middle at between 45 and 55. So it's really hard to determine. Today it was in an overbought position. So there was a lot of things just saying that this was a good day for a short. Also, if you look left here in this area over, yesterday and in this area right here, right before opening bell, if you just take a line, and this is what I do quite a bit, and you draw one right in the middle of all that kind of comfort zone area. So I'm not even looking at the right side, and boom, look at that. I didn't look, but it almost came within that. So very interesting. So specifically, I highlighted in these ellipses that you have a comfort zone, it dropped below, comfort zone went above, below, it's kind of the dividing line, and now we're above it. And then finally, when we go back, we pierce with a straight line down, never seeing it again. We're coming up to that. That's usually a point of resistance, and because we've been down so far. Another thing I noticed is I've been predicting a little bit ahead of the 50-day crossing the 200, which is called a golden cross. You get the 21 period crossing. Again, we use Fibonacci on the 21 and the 89 rather than the 20 and the 90 period EMAs. But predictive, it's the 21 crosses, you get a little pullback touching the 21. This is a great spot to go long with a trade. And then when you get the actual cross, you see that we're at a peak, and typically it'll either go one direction or the other, but in this case it pulled back. Now we did have a bunch of announcements this morning that caused the market some trepidation, let's put it that way. So even if you got in right at the market opening, or the 8:30 reopening, boy, I'm having trouble talking, at the 8:30 announcement time, it went up first about 9, and then at 7 and 9, and then it pulled back. And that would have been another good spot, to get in, which was the old bottom of where the 50 period was. And this W peak right here, you look really good spot to get in. So just saying. Anyway, here was the 100% blow off on this move from top to bottom. It was a 50%, top to bottom. So it's a 200% from top to bottom right at the pivot point here. And then you had a 100% in the channel that we drew, just barely got above it, and you had this line. So if you did all this predictively in advance, you knew that this was a good spot for a turnaround right there. Now, where it's going to go from here, that's what we were trying to decide. So as you can see, we got in up here at 3807.25 short, hit our target, our targets. We got in with 2 contracts, hit our targets. So we made 550 each, or 650. What is that? Wow, tough day. 6 points on 2 contracts. And then we got in long at 37.99. Needless to say, this was a signal where I should have had a short stop and not taken a big risk on it. Instead, I DCA'd at 83, and then I DCA'd at 70. Now, the trade worked out okay. My computer was running slow, and I was behind on all of it, but it ended up working out okay, and I came out. But don't try that at home, folks. Just let it stop out. Get in on the trade in the direction that it's running, and you'll be a lot more profitable trader. Let's look at the other markets and where we think this is going to go today. Now, just a few things to recap. We've been talking about how the market flows, and yesterday I had mentioned that we're going to probably get a pullback to 38, 38, 38.38, and it came up to 38.42. So it went a little higher than I thought. That was based on a line that I was drawing. And then I thought 37.20, you've been listening to my videos, that it was in the cards. I just didn't know when it was going to be happening. It happened sooner than I thought, but we did hit 37.20, as you can see, or very close to it. Then a pullback to this channel, not surprising. So in the rest of the day, I see maybe a retest on a wick to this 37.90, and then coming back down potentially into the 37.50. Where it goes from there, is it going to go to the other side of this Bollinger, or just stay in the middle? Maybe 37, it's already at 37.61, came out and tested. Man, a retest. I don't know if it's going to go probably to this doji at 37.41 and then consolidate in between and a breakout one direction or the other. I don't know. I would tend to think it's going to gravitate back towards the 200 period first and then maybe retest. So boy, but just know most likely gravitate the rest of the day between these two. Let's go check the other markets. For the MNQ, looking very similar. We did hit the 4 sigma on the top. We're down, very similar look to the MES ES. This looks like maybe, a pullback to almost 12.5 and then a continued down to the S2, or, at least retesting 12.3. Boy, this looks really bearish too. Let's see the 5-minute. Yeah, come up to test 12.5 and then a pullback to 12.3. We'll see. Well, the M2K, a similar look. It's not quite as far down. It's touching the 50 down here, probably back up to the 50, maybe this line, and then further south to retest this 2100 area. Let's see what the 5-minute says. 5-minute maybe back up to this comfort zone, 2157, and then down back to 2110, 2100. Boy, this looks like a down day. We'll recap later. Have a great Friday. Thanks for being with Futures to More and Futures Networks Live. And hopefully you guys learned something from some of the indicators that I use and how to become a more profitable trader. Thank you.